What's up everybody? Welcome back. I know I left you with a bit of a cliffhanger in the last video, so today I'm giving you some long-awaited closure because I am sure that you've been losing sleep and just really stressed and thinking about it all day and all night for 2 weeks. So here is my new camera, the Mamiya 645 Super. I've been shooting, developing, and scanning my own 35mm film for years now, I think like 4 or 5 years, and over time I've really grown to appreciate and enjoy that sort of tactile process. Almost exactly 1 year ago, I actually ordered the same model of camera, but it unfortunately had a broken piece inside where the mirror was that made it impossible to focus properly. I did a test roll and then afterwards figured that out. Luckily I was able to return it, but it kept me away from venturing into medium format for the past year. After getting burned by that purchase, I just said, forget it, and moved on mentally for a while, until, of course, now. And it was actually the same price or within a few dollars of when I purchased it a year ago, which is a true miracle in the film photography world. As you may know, things have just been going up and up and up. So I was particularly happy with this purchase because I found one that actually came with a 55mm 2.8 lens, which is equivalent to a 35mm focal length on full frame or 35mm film cameras. And almost every unit sold was originally paired with an 80mm lens, so I was quick to buy this package with my favorite focal length already included. As the name implies, this medium format SLR system shoots in a 6:4.5 aspect ratio on 120 film, which will get you 15 shots per roll on this bad boy. There were a total of 7 iterations of this fully manual system manufactured spanning from 1975 all the way up till 2006. This one, the Super, was made from 1985 to 1993. It has shutter speeds ranging from 4 seconds all the way up to 1/1000th of a second, and it only weighs 895 grams, which isn't terrible honestly for a medium format camera. It takes a common and cheap battery that's still in production today, the 4LR44 type. It also has switchable backs, switchable finders, a mirror lockup, multiple exposure function, and I am thankful to have found one with a metered prism that even has a spot meter function, which is actually what I use on all of my cameras 99% of the time. I love the modular design of this camera. As you know, I'm a fan of modular things. And really, if nothing else, it just makes me less worrisome knowing that if a part were to break or stop working, then I can address it locally on the camera and replace just that section pretty easily. There's all kinds of sweeto accessories you can get, like different format backs, different film inserts, auto winders, cranks, grips, shutter release cable adapter, which I really want actually, and all kinds of fun stuff. But I have it just about the most minimal that you can get it, and I actually really want to keep it that way. This is rigged up pretty much how I want to keep it all the time at the moment. One thing to note is that it's pretty difficult to find a way to put the strap, like a neck strap or anything on this camera, if you don't have either the original strap, which is like $100 on eBay if it didn't come with your particular camera body, or at minimum the clips that were used originally to attach to these little posts here on the side, which are really hard to find the actual little clips that will fit this particular model of camera. So I came up with a solution where I had these little extra Peak Design anchors and this clip or a thread plate, whatever you want to call it. This thing does hang upside down when you use it this way, but so far it's worked really well. And as long as you somewhat are, taking caution when you're walking around, make sure you don't bump on anything, it's been totally fine. After it showed up in the mail from Japan, which was surprisingly quick actually, only about a week, I threw some Kodak Gold 200 in it and took it for a test drive around the house and such here, and developed it the next day just to make sure everything was functioning. The results were super clean, and I was actually blown away by the sharpness and detail of this little lens. I could really feel myself already catching the medium format bug, which unfortunately came with a cough and congestion that lasted for 3 weeks. But anyways, this camera came at the perfect time for me as we were gearing up to take a trip to Arizona to visit some of our best friends, Robert and Rachel, and enjoy some desert warmth for a long weekend. Just getting warmed up here with my first roll of Portra 400. Nothing really special about this first handful of shots, but I figured I'd include them anyway. Sometimes it honestly takes me a bit of time to figure out what I'm drawn to in a new place. Arizona was no exception to that.
How's it going?
Good. Very good. We lost Robert again.
What are you doing?
Snake hunting.
As you can probably already see, I actually didn't film very much of this video footage. So a massive thank you to my trusty sidekick, aka my wife, Jillian, who did an amazing job filming the majority of this episode. She also shot a roll of 35mm film in her old faithful Canon Rebel on this trip. So I'll actually include some of those photos throughout the video in addition to my own. I honestly love her photos and I'm trying to encourage her to shoot more and share more. So feel free to help me in that effort. Literally not 20 seconds after Robert was telling us that wild donkeys roam around the area and we all thought he was joking, we spotted some off in the distance. They got away from me this time. My lens was just a little too wide for how far away they were. A mile or so up the road, we found another group that were very friendly and not far off the road at all. So we kept our distance and shot some from the car before watching them graze for a while.
You look both ways for traffic. Just be careful. Very busy out here.
I finished up the roll of Portra 400 here and loaded in Gold 200. We did a bit more sightseeing and then headed back to their place to relax by the pool for a bit and eat some lunch. Later that night, we went out east of Phoenix into the mountains where we visited a cool little touristy Old West town called Goldfield. After walking around there for a few minutes, we kept on trekking down the road towards the wilderness area that's about 15 minutes or so farther out. And here is where I almost died. Not even 10 feet off the footpath, I came about half a stride away from stepping directly on this western diamondback. Jillian got some footage of it while I walked in circles, swearing, exhaling repeatedly, and cleaning the Hershey squirts off my boxers. This is one of 4 snakes that we saw over the course of the weekend. too high of a number for me personally. Just feet away from my almost gravesite, I steadied my trembling hands and took this photo before deciding to kind of pack up because the clouds were moving in and sunset was kind of looking like a no-go. Boy, were we wrong. Not a mistake you make twice. The next day we drove down to Tucson. On the way we saw this wild looking horizontal rainbow. If anyone knows how or why this happens, drop a comment below, we're all very curious. Stop point of the day was this really beautiful historic Spanish Catholic mission. The area around Tucson is this otherworldly landscape, just crammed full of mountains, cacti, unique plants and flowers. It's just really incredible. I went on a bit of a hot streak here, taking some of my favorite images of the trip. I really love these shots of the cactus against the sky. They remind me of old postcards from the 70s or something. Super happy with them. On the third day, we all packed up and drove north of Phoenix to this incredible little mountain town called Jerome. As we were walking up and down the streets taking photos, a really nice gentleman who was a groundskeeper at a private bed and breakfast called the Surgeon's House invited us to explore the gardens, and, which is awesome. And we accepted his invitation and spent like a half hour or so just taking photos of this amazing place. It was just an incredible experience. It was like being in Narnia or Alice in Wonderland or something, just this little perfect slice of peace and tranquility up in the mountains with a view for what seemed like 100 miles out over the desert. Here's where I loaded my last roll of the trip, which was Cinestill 400D. We spent a little while longer checking out the shops and makers in the town before we decided to call it a day and go back to their place to pack for our flight home the next day. I woke up the next day and realized I still had 3 shots left on the roll in the Mamiya, so we went for a little morning walk around their neighborhood and I shot the remainder of those frames. Overall, I gotta say I'm really happy with the Mamiya so far. It's a camera that I truly enjoy interacting with, and for me, that's really what it's all about. Before I wrap this one up, I just wanted to say thank you to Robert and Rachel for having us and for all the good memories that we made on this trip together. I truly had the most fun that I've had in such a long time. Thank you for watching. Your support seriously means the world to me. More fun things coming up on this channel soon. I will see you in the next one.